Welcome back. We are on the final step of making our hay. Now, obviously, we do have a slightly different tractor here. This is an Allis Challmers still, but this is an 8030 Allis Challmers. It does have a bigger engine. It has a 426, which is a 7-liter engine. It is a diesel inline 6. The 7000 you've been seeing in the last few videos, that one only has a 301 in it, which is a 4.9, just a little bit smaller, but still both of them are turbocharged, plenty of power. This one makes 130 PTO horsepower from the factory. The other one should be at 110 from the factory, but that one's turned up. I'm not sure what it makes exactly. However, another difference, this is our baler. So this is a Hesston 560. It makes a 5-foot wide bale, and we can make them all the way up to 6 foot tall. It is automated. And what I mean by automated is there's a sensor right here. So this sensor right there, as this arrow comes down, it'll eventually get even with this. This is gonna set off our sensor inside. And at that point, it's gonna make a loud buzzing noise. That loud buzzing noise is going to tell me, hey, it's time to wrap this bale. It has made it to 5 feet in diameter. Now, 5 foot wide, 5 foot tall bales is what we make, but like I said, you could make them bigger or you could make them smaller. You'll also notice that this has absolutely no hydraulics hooked up between the tractor and the baler, and that's because it just has this little electronic control right here. So this has all the controls that go to that monitor that's inside. You'll see it here shortly. Essentially what happens is we turn the PTO on. That PTO is going to spin the gear inside of this gearbox right here, and then there's a sprocket and a chain that comes off of it, and it makes it to where it spins this hydraulic pump as well. This hydraulic pump is going to feed the pressure. Now we have ours set to 1500 PSI. That's just an approximation because, as you can see, these gauges over here, they're a little questionable looking. However, it does make a very good and tight bale. This is a clutch, so when we tell it to run, essentially that clutch will then be engaged because it'll push this hydraulic cylinder out, allowing this and the other side to clamp together, turning this axle or this shaft right here, which then turns our chains and all the other chains and everything else that's connected in here, the feeder, all the rollers, etc. Some of you probably recognize this baler because we did some work to it. The last time we used it, we got 4 bales in and we broke a bearing. Now we, knock on wood, God willing, we're gonna be fine. We fixed that bearing, and then we also fixed a leaking hydraulic cylinder on this side. And now those hydraulic cylinders are important because those are what keep tension on our bale, and that's what's gonna keep these belts tight. So right now they're not tight because the tractor's not running, the PTO is not running, and it's not turning that pump, so that pressure is essentially leaked off over time. Those are the 2 cylinders on this side that are responsible for keeping pressure against the bale and making it good and tight. This is basically a solenoid. This is a hydraulic block here with multiple solenoids in it. And this allows us to adjust our pressure on the bale and then also adjust like the twine and how it is fed. And also we can bleed pressure off by simply turning this one. Maybe. There. So that will bleed all of the pressure off, and then we'll tighten that back up to make sure that we have pressure as needed. This is a hydraulic reservoir for it, breather for it, and there's a filter right there. 100% self-contained unit. Everything is literally on the baler. The only thing it does is it takes power from the tractor off the PTO, the power takeoff. And of course, the monitor in there, it needs electronic. It needs 12 volts of power to be able to run all these solenoids and everything. The tractor is providing that as well. Doing all the same checks that we do on any tractor before we start them. Make sure that it's got plenty of oil. Oops, the other side has the fill line. Good to go. Yes, it looked like it was just a tickle low, but it's actually because this tractor is on a slant. This floor in here is sloped. This is our transmission fluid. Unlike a transmission in your vehicle, it uses hydraulic fluid and it doesn't have to be checked while it's running. And there we go, we can see it's clearly full, probably maybe just a tickle too full. When we did services on it, I might have refilled it a little too full, but I guess it's probably better to be too full than empty. So that's all good. We can check our hydraulic fluid right here, which we can see that, yeah, we're a little low, but again, we're on a slant to the right, which would make these read much lower than what they actually are. It's always good to have a dog that jumps on the bales to check them, make sure that they're, solid and everything. This has its own reservoir like we talked about, and you can see right there, it is not full, but it's not low. We have plenty of twine. And there it is, the last bale of this field. A little bit of fine tuning had to be done. Overall, I think we're good. The only other issue I do see, and you saw me stop for it for a little bit, we've got some belts that are definitely in need of replacing. Sorry about that. Camera steamed up on me. It is nice and cold in there. The air conditioner works very well. Overall though, like I said, we're dialed in. The next thing that does need to be replaced on this is probably belts. And I'm gonna be honest, I just don't know that I want to invest the money in it. You know, I need 8 belts, and each belt's about $350 to $400 a pop. So, do you put that kind of money into a baler that's this old? I don't know. We're gonna look around, we'll see. But it does make a good bale still, even with the belts, you know, a little questionable. Hey, thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a blessed week. We'll see you next time.